I use my shaker every day, and a couple things I don't like is that protein powder gets stuck in the bottom and that the metal ball makes an annoying noise. So I use CAD to redesign the bottom and make it round and make a completely new shaker. The orange shaker was 3D printed and used to then make the mold. Now let's take a better look at what I did for my manufacturing process. The first part of my process was making the form. I ended up using foam board and hot glue to make the form that was going to be used for the first part of my mold. I also used the same materials to make the second part of the mold, which you'll see later in the video. The next part of my process was preparing the form for the silicone mold. I added about an inch of clay in the bottom of the mold so that I could raise the bottle off of the surface. This was to make the second part of the mold easier to pour. The first part of the mold is strictly the outside of the bottle and its dimensions and characteristics. As you can see, I'm hot gluing everything to make sure that no silicone seeps out. I did use mold release on everything. This was a lifesaver. One thing I did learn during this process is that you can never have too much silicone. As you can see, I'm only mixing up one kit. I ended up using 2 kits for the first part of my mold and having to order 3 more kits in order to get this project done. You can see Josh in the background dancing. The silicone that I purchased had a 6-hour cure time, so once I was done pouring the first part of the mold, I had to be done for the day. I also added a strip of blue painter's tape around the form to give it more structural stability. At this point, I'd already taken the first part of the mold out of the form, done some cleanup work, removed the clay, and smoothed out the edges and added some notches in so that when I poured the second part of the mold, that I could tell which way it went. Here I'm re-adding more forms in order to pour the second part of the mold. I did the same process as the first part with hot glue and foam board. I filled in any unwanted cracks with more clay and then applied more mold release and re-glued it down to the base. At this point, I was ready to mix my second batch of silicone. I went ahead and mixed 2 kits. This was more than plenty for this mold and the small ball I designed. I didn't account for shrinkage, and that means it required the both of us to get the shaker bottle out. As you can see, we kind of struggled. The plastic resin that we ordered started setting up after 3 minutes, which means we had to stir and pour everything pretty quickly. The cure time on the resin was 15 to 20 minutes. I used the box to create pressure between the 2 molds so that the plastic didn't push the top mold away from the bottom. Overall, the molds turned out pretty well. With the bottom was very, very thin, and I accidentally cracked it when I was trying to get the mold out. And the threads didn't come out quite like I wanted to. The top was also very thin and kind of cracked. The 3D printed bottle held water great and could work, while the molded bottle was too thin and leaked water.